Yes, it's in the bag in that it will pass. We've already heard from 70 members of the Senate who've indicated they'll vote for it. So it's expected to pass tomorrow. And basically what's been achieved is an agreement to cut enormous amounts, $1 trillion or so over the next 10 years in the first round, followed by another $1.5 trillion in a second round of decisions and cuts to be made in the next year. So there are enormous amount of cuts, no tax increases for the wealthy, no closing of corporate loopholes. So this is an all-cut, no tax increase program, which is why Republicans voted by a three-quarters majority for it, while Democrats only voted 50-50 for it today.
Do you think it's enough to stave off the dreaded downgrading of America's credit rating?
Well, that's by no means clear. Remember, there are multiple credit agencies who do this sort of rating, and none of them have committed to saying that they won't downgrade the United States government anyway, even if this bill passes. So that really remains to be seen.
Okay, and we've been hearing that this is just a short-term solution. What do you think a longer-term solution might be?
Well, it's absolutely a short-term solution. The bill is structured so that by the end of next year, a unelected committee of members of Senate and the Congress, divided between the two parties, has to recommend another $1.5 trillion in cuts. If not, some automatic processes go into place. And in the beginning of the next year, the president, whoever that may be in 2013, will need to go back and repeat this process all over again. There's no guarantee that we won't see a replay of the kind of crisis we saw just now. I think that's one of the factors making the credit agencies wary of this deal, and it's something that should make other observers wary too. We don't have a stable long-term situation right now.
Certainly. If the U.S.'s credit rating is downgraded, what do you think it would take the U.S. to restore its AAA status?
Well, part of the problem is that the credit ratings agencies themselves are for-profit and somewhat political in nature as well, so they have not always been clear about what they consider creditworthy and what they don't. As recently as 2 or 3 months ago, they were saying that this issue of spending cuts didn't need to be addressed immediately. All of a sudden, they were saying if the U.S. government didn't come up with $4 trillion in cuts, they would downgrade it. Well, this doesn't provide $4 trillion in cuts, and there's no provision for tax increases to make up the difference. So the rating agencies are themselves unpredictable. We can't know what will happen, and I suspect there are very heated discussions taking place right now behind closed doors with those agencies to try to stave off a downgrade.
Certainly, and we'll be waiting and watching. Richard Eskow, Senior Fellow at Campaign for America's Future.